Okay, this is to discuss page number 1 regarding the procedure against me, which they believe that I will accept that as an investigation. However, as you all know, it doesn't have anything with investigation. More than anything, this got to do with my translating what they would like me to harass with, basically repeated lies, threats, to the point when you would mentally break down, for them to take over is what it is. And another stuff is that I'm not going to translate entirely the page, because this few pages that I have here really are nothing else than diarrhea. I mean, if I was to translate these pages to you, 2, 3, 4 pages, you do probably end up reading some other blogs, and you wouldn't take anything that is informative, educational for you to be learned from my blogs. You would get frustrated. You would start to deem that it's worthless to learn about what is going on, because that is exactly what these letters were designed for. They were not only designed to fabricate horrible lies, accusations, really nothing else than crime factories what these criminals are, but it was also designed further to distract you, to pull you away, to make you fed up with watching my blogs. Like they expected me probably to post this online, and my posting online I would create like some kind of overkill issue. It would make me, it would be like, I have already read that, I don't need to know more about this and that, and that's not what I want. What I want is, as I stated, I want to be as informative as possible, educational as possible, so I open eyes to other people, and that you continue to follow my blogs, watch my videos, and that we get done with these criminals, because these criminals have to be brought to the justice. In fact, later on this week I will press charges against the court in Novo Mesto, against this very court who believes that they will in fact investigate me. I will press the charges against local police station for fabrication of lies that have led literally into my imprisonment in mental hospital for 10 months, where I was severely mistreated, tortured. I will press charges against local psychiatrists here in Novo Mesto. I will press charges against the nurse that pays regular visits on every 2 weeks. I will press charges, of course, as well against mental hospital in Ljubljana, for obvious reasons as stated in my blogs. But as I stated, I will not translate entirely this 5 pages, and instead of that, what I will do is 4 pages. Instead, I will concentrate on whatever makes difference. We'll comment on that, and this is how we're gonna go through with this case, because as I said, if I was to translate these letters in writings, or to get them translated literally on voice recorder in English, it would be such a diarrhea and a waste of time that I would be the one who would end up losing. You would be the one who would end up losing. So it's something we can't afford. If there are professional agencies out there, such as governments, news media, they can take their time and hire either professional translators, or just type this letters in Google translation engine, and they will have them translated. I just can't afford that right now, or probably I should say ever. Anyhow, if we go with this page number 1, and it is the procedure that took off against me again. On September the 19th, 2013. On the first page, what I have to say about is that there is, if you like, rationalized assumption that as a family member I have mistreated others severely and have treated them with humiliation, have caused them tremendous pain, threats with what would be direct attack on their life, bodily harm, that I have pushed them out of the residence, and that I have violently limited the equality of rights of my family members. I'm just going to take a little time. I'm going to have this little translated to you so you will understand why I have so many troubles translating this stuff, and why am I not translating this. Diarrhea is what it is. It would sound exactly like this: because of the justified suspicion that a family member have treated another one badly, that have treated him painfully and humiliating, have threatened directly attacked on life and bodily chased out of the residence, and with a forceful limitation of equal rights, I have placed not community, watch out, but communities into subordinate position. Well, I really can't, because these people, like I've stated on my blog, they are, for one thing, they are illiterate even in their native language. For another one is they are obviously mentally retarded. For the third, they want me, by waste my time and translate all this, come out as a mentally retarded, would actually not only retard me, but would have my readers, my blog viewers, deterred away from me. So I really can't go with this. This is the type of stuff we are talking about. And I'm talking about one page. That's why I'm taking time to explain this to you, how the psychology, the violent world, psychology, psychiatry, how criminal these people are. Okay, I can't. This is the reason why I can't go and just translate this. And you're talking about only here 4 pages, and you were able to see like mountain over there of the paperwork. Me and probably hundreds of papers that they have sent to me within the last 6 months, that more or less are writings as seen here. I think that if you end up reading that kind of stuff, you end up really mentally retarded, I would say. They do break you down mentally if you do. I will go through this stuff once for you to denounce basically what is going on, but under no circumstances am I going to go and go through this. Anybody that understands this language will confirm my statement that this is illiterate, it is retarded, beside everything else, criminal and so on. I just can't afford that. But anyhow, if I continue with this, yeah, I really have never attacked anybody physically. I have never forced anybody to fight for his life, especially not my mom and my father, whom I love very much. This is just, how would you say, really, really Mount Everest of the bullshit. That I have limited their rights and placed them in subordinate position. Not only them, but obviously what they say here is skupnosti, which means, I don't know what they mean exactly. Do they mean by this household alone, or do they mean entire village here? I don't know what they mean, to be quite honest about it. It is sicker than sick is what it is. But let's keep going. They get involved and they try to incite and talk about what were McCulter procedures, abductions, basically my claims that my father have, together with neighbor Igor Kotter, followed me in Sweden. But then they don't state any details. They are not stating that this was basically in 1998 or anything like that. Like I said, it's a diarrhea. I can't go with these explanations because explanations were done on my blogs, videos. I firmly stand behind them. It is exactly what have happened. It is exactly what is going on. Cannot go on with this diarrhea for another reason, because talking about McCulter procedures for these criminals translates into opportunity to basically rate you again as schizophrenic. So talking about McCulter procedures is pretty much what they want at this point. And what was observation, 6-month observation, in a parenthesis observation, which is nothing else than terror, crime against me, that have lasted for 6 months, as explained on my blog. They would like to extend now on another 6 months. They want to control everything I say. They don't want me to talk about what was done to me, the crime they have done against me, and in particular they're concerned about McCulter procedures. They don't want to talk about that. So anyhow, that the two have followed me in Sweden '95. That I have locked myself inside of the room since my arrival in 2008. No, in 2008 until 2000 and I'm sorry. I did not come back in 2008 at all. These are idiots. I have come back in 2006 and have stayed until March 2008, when I was forcefully thrown out of the country. Either I would stay in the country and go into the mental hospital, or would go out of the country, was the name of the game, because I have pressed a lawsuit against the local police in Novo Mesto due to parts for which I have paid for. It was about car repair. These are the parts that have basically never ever arrived here. And when I filed the complaint in obtaining my money back with this local police here in Novo Mesto, instead of granting me an assistance, they have turned against me, and they started with the crime, with the false accusations that led, like I said, into literally in lawsuit. I wouldn't say lawsuit, because lawsuit involves money. It was some sort of intermediation where it was concluded that police officers did mistreated me. They did act against the law. They should have investigated the case. Money should have been refunded to me. Instead of that, what they have done is they have harassed me. These were exactly the same people that were involved in abductions, McCulter procedures, and other violence against me. This was decided by the court here in Novo Mesto. on what, instead of them apologizing for what was done to me, instead of that, they have simply sent psychologists, psychiatrists right here at home at the residence to harass me, to suggest me that I should be placed in a mental hospital and so on, just as explained on my videos. What actually made me leave the country? You know, you probably wouldn't want to go to mental hospital because you pressed charges against the local police and you won the case. That's probably not what you would want. I didn't either. So it was not in 2008 as it states here, but it was actually in 2006. And when they mention here that I have declined to eat food, that I have insulted my mom, that that food is from dirty hands, that the two were extremely worried because I have slept during the daytime, while during the nighttime I was connecting myself with other people that were like-minded throughout the world. Haha! Oh my goodness! Well, I didn't return back to so-called Slovenia until 2010 it was. Okay, so this 2008 is, I don't know what this, like I said, this is a diarrhea is what it is. Makes sense, none whatsoever. Garbage, lies, fabrication, imagination, blodnia if you like. Hallucination, the communist hallucinations is what they really are. Yes, in 2010 I have returned back to Slovenia, and ever since I have posted over 300,000 ads online throughout the world in sub-comment, in newspaper, online, sub-comment sections in order to alert the world about what was going on with me and other people as well. So I didn't have, number one, I didn't have any time to waste my time with like-minded people. That was, for one thing, I was too busy. I was working 24/7. I was recording videos. I was writing blogs, books if you like. I was posting online stuff with journalists, and it wouldn't be, such thing never existed. It was just impossible that any of this stuff would come out. Yeah, I did sleep during the daytime, but why did I sleep during the daytime? Why was that? Well, for the idiots, these communist hallucinators here in Slovenia, for this scum, just because in United States of America, you idiots, there is a time difference between Europe and United States of America. And if you want to advertise in comment sections for people to read about your writings, you have to understand that in Europe people come home at 4 o'clock. So before 4 o'clock, if you would go and post online, it would be like a waste. Your comments get deleted, erased, anyhow, censored within the hours. And if you would go and post these comments in Europe in the mornings, it would be counterproductive. It would be nothing else than waste of time. So yeah, people come back from their job, from their work, sometimes after 4, 3 o'clock. They come back like 3 o'clock, and then probably they sit at computers sometimes at 4, 5 o'clock or so. And it goes on like this probably until sometimes 8, 9 o'clock. While in the United States of America, you idiots, you see, it's a big time difference. So when it's time here in Novo Mesto, which is about the same thing like Berlin or Prague or Vienna or Munich, when it's time here like 8 o'clock at night, you got to understand that in United States of America, let's say in New York City or Miami, along the eastern coast, but not entirely, because even you have different time zones like Maine and stuff. But yeah, when it's 8 o'clock evening here in, I would say, Central Europe, it's about just 3 in the afternoon in United States. Do you understand now, idiots? Why have I slept during the daytime, and why have I worked heavily during the nighttime? Okay, there doesn't nothing wrong with the person if the person is so obligated, hardworking. That is a plus for the person. That's not a mental issue. That is just a plus. That is just a person that is much worthy than you scum are. Scum that is nothing else but freeloading at our expenses. What you are. What you do for the money, I do 1,000 times more for free, and much more than what you do. Or I should say what you could ever done, because you haven't done anything. For things to get even better, in LA, Los Angeles, which is on the other side of the United States. Yes, huge. When it's 8 o'clock at night here in Central Europe, it's barely 11 o'clock in LA, in Los Angeles. That makes sense? Does that make sense then? If we continue with this garbage letter here, the first page, that I have behaved aggressively, that I have both insulted, that I have suggested them that they should be killed, and because of their fear, that the same thing that that I have suggested also to the neighbors and other people, that I have insisted that Slovenes, Jews, and Gypsies have to be killed. That because of my behavior, as explained here, that all the people that would come in the house and relatives would not even come close. I have even attacked them, in fact, when they came on visitation, or I have simply hurried them out of the house, which I have also done to my father and my mother, and so on and so on. Well, the only thing that I can say is that I do hope that you have proofs for such lies. I hope that you will be able to prove that I have stated that Slovenes, Jews, and Gypsies have to be killed, exterminated. I hope that you have the proof that I have also threatened to the neighbors, to the relatives, that they will be killed. I hope that you have the proof of all this stuff, because it's diarrhea is what it is. It's clearly insane, is all I have to say. Now let's go to page number 2. The proofs you will need. You will need the proofs, because I will get, make no mistake, exact information, who stated, what stated, when, and will insist on people to prove their statements. You got to understand that accusations like this, the fabrications, the lies that are stated here, are not just criminal. These are the extensions of acts of genocide against me, and I am going to get whoever stated what stated. We're going to know exactly who stated, when they stated, and what they stated. And God help you on your way to hell if you don't have what are proofs. They are stressing the situation which you were able to see on my video about incident that I have basically recorded and posted online, which was for the 80th birthday of my father, in front of my sister and others, when I have suggested Igor Kotter and his wife to leave. And I did that because I have pressed charges against them on a court for human rights in Strasbourg. Um, they very much follow what I post. They're very much acquainted with what I post. You were able to see what my sister was doing with her dog under the window. It was her son-in-law, husband from her daughter, that would clean his car, not car, but van, travel van, blasting the music under my window and poke fun at me, challenge me constantly. And this is not his home, this is not his place, would come here for nothing else than to harass, to intimidate, to challenge, and at the same time knew exactly what was going on and what is going on. If unsure about that, watch my videos. I have recorded them. Much of the stuff I didn't record, but much of the stuff is recorded. Yes, the allegations, the fabrications, the lie factory continues that I have threatened to my parents. That I have threatened to my parents that about the race itself. That is, I don't know what they mean at all, because it's diarrhea again. They don't even know how to lie. You know, at least if they would know how to lie, they would make the sentence. You know, but because they want to make the whole thing so shoddy, because they are such liars, because this is a scum that doesn't know anything else but to lie. And the best way to lie like this, like you see here, is to make the sentences that are shoddy sentences, sentences that are not accusating directly, sentences that are not coherent, that are not specific. But it's interesting because they say that between 1st 2011 and 5th 2012 I have threatened to parents. So you see, they put attention to the time, okay? But then they continue that I have threatened to my parents with ideas about more worthy race of some kind. Wow. They don't know what kind of a kind. They don't know anything about what kind of race. I mean, they're making the statement about my claiming to my parents about more worthy and less worthy races is what they are talking about. So how come they're so specific about the time, but they are not specific about what kind of race have I threatened about, is what they claim here. And that these are the people that I connect with, and they will kill everybody else. And at the same time that I have glorified Norwegian killer BREIVIK, Anders Breivik, which made both of my parents very, very afraid. And then is diarrhea, because they don't really know what to say. They continue, how to lie, I should say. They continue that they were very afraid, and that I have treated them for the last 2 years only very, very badly. And it, even that, despite that they were grooming me to be a good, decent boy, everything till I have returned from abroad, from the outside of the country, on what some kind of a strange ideas which are not acceptable for the two of them and civilized society, obviously have obsessed me. But this diarrhea people that write this letter, they did not even come to the point that they could write about word obsessed me or something like that. So I have to help them to make sense out of their nonsense sentences, is what I have to say about this. And yes, and the threats and I don't know what, that I will throw them out of the residence, they repeat themselves, like I have stated. They repeat themselves with the garbage. They're not making clear sentences. When they lie, they don't know what to lie about. They dare to use some kind of dates to make somewhat credible their statement and stuff like that. The whole thing is diarrhea atop of diarrhea. No, in fact, I have never ever discussed with my parents about Anders Breivik at all. I have, in fact, never ever discussed with my parents about any human races. I have never ever discussed with anyone about that there will be a human race that will exterminate everybody else. I have never discussed with my parents what I was here previously, that I was accused that I have stated that Jews, Slovenes and Gypsies have to be exterminated and stuff like that. Well, diarrhea is what it is. It's really, really, really is a diarrhea, factory of lies. I sincerely hope that they do have proof about their statements, because I will inquire and demand that proof badly. We'll do everything to get that proof. Yes. Then they basically continued that that from their statements, from my mother and my father's statement on May 14th, 2012, seems like that my father and mother have given some statements, but we will talk about that in continuation, that were given then to the police. Statements from what they refer to him as a doctor, Cveto Gradišar. Statements from Biserka Ausets, which is my sister, and Mitja Weber, which is son-in-law from my sister, that is Serbian Jew, that was implanted in the family via communists in Ljubljana, and I have explained that in detail, how it happened, what have happened in '98 when I was departing Slovenia back to the United States, when they have loaded me back on the plane and took me back to the United States, how I was threatened at Faculty for Philosophy in Ljubljana by Zizek is his name. That's a hardcore communist garbage, that they will do everything possible to ruin my life. And yeah, it's pretty much what they have tried to do, but my life is not ruined, not even anywhere close ruined. The one that is ruined is them, because the whole world get to know who and what they are. And Dr. Nikolina Rijavec, that was, I believe, the doctor that was in a hospital when I was where I was forcefully hospitalized, that have lied and lied and lied. It's the stuff that we will talk about, because, as I stated, is what I will press the charges against them, against the hospital, mental hospital in Ljubljana, and that pretty much means against the people that work in that hospital. The suspected, they refer to me as a suspect, as a suspected, was July 2012 forcefully hospitalized in psychiatric hospital in Ljubljana, where Dr. Gradišar and Rijavec, that is, I think, another Serb. She's definitely not from here. She barely speaks Slovenian language. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. That there is a suspicion that due to deteriorated mental health, sickness, some sort of mental issues, and mental regressiveness. I am a mentally regress. I am mentally challenged. According to the communists, I am, how would you say? I don't know how you would say. It's quite interesting, because they're talking about races, they're talking about extermination, and then they're literally coming out with stuff like this, that I am mentally retarded. Duševna zaostalost, they call that. Stuff like that, that I was not even, how you would say, present, mentally, that I didn't know where I was, basically what I was doing there, that I was just completely out. Like, I don't know how you would explain that. Probably comparable to somebody who is totally in coma and they brought him and he doesn't know where he is, what he is, who he is. Yeah, that pretty much is what is suggested on this page too. The two people, my mother and my father, live together in this very house here in Novo Mesto. And then all of a sudden they changed their story from what you were able to read on page 1, that I have returned back in Slovenia in 2008. They now come with new statement and they claim now that it was in 2006. This is the type of diarrhea we're talking about. And now they start to clarify that I was at home in 2008, exactly what I have stated on page 1, and that I have, without any explanation, traveled back to America. Wow, I don't know about this because you were all able to read my blogs where everything was explained, name of the people, psychiatrists, psychologists, how they have come here to threaten that they will hospitalize me. I was jobless, I was forcefully jobless. My car and myself almost got wrecked in a car assassination plot, what it was. But yeah, they don't know anything about this. They don't know anything about this. And they continued that they don't know whether I was in Sweden or America. So all my time that I have wasted explaining where I was, what I was, and also you were able to read that I have written that in English when I was in Sweden, when I was in America, on the very beginning of this blog. So I don't, like I said, I can't afford myself to take time and translate diarrhea. That doesn't make any sense. So just I'm trying to make sense out of this garbage. Yes, they're complaining again that I'm only into computer, that they're repeating basically the same thing that already in 2006, that I was not social, that I was destructive, self-destructive, that I claim that I am not Slovenian, that I am German. Well, I just want to make this really, really easy for everybody to understand. If you are treated the way I was treated, that you do end up going abroad, basically that you don't have the right to job as educated for, pretty much they're telling you that you're not welcome here, even that you were born, and since this country really was part of German nations for over 1,500 years, and it's pretty much where our people are exposed. They are mostly in a search for work, for bread, in Germany or the United States, Canada, France, Scandinavia, and so on. Yeah, that kind of makes me really believe, especially my mom's last name is Strauss, and I do not resemble the people down on south, Serbs, Gypsies. That's basically what they are, mixed with one another. It kind of makes me really think, and because I have no relation to Russians, Slavs, and so on, it kind of really makes me believe, yeah, since I'm not welcome here, to classify myself as a German. And I didn't know that is such a crime to do that. I didn't know that they have so much hatred for the German people. I did know, but I just want to point out that I am not stupid, that I will settle for what they have to say about who and what I am. That I am a honorable member of Nazi party in Germany. That again, they repeat again the same thing. Like I stated, they repeat and they repeat diarrhea, while they have nothing, no proofs, no nothing else than lies. that all the Jews have to be, and Gypsies, and Slovenians that have to be, and especially the communists that have to be exterminated, that I feel threatened, that I feel endangered, and the one that would endanger me would be my parents and everybody else, that my father and the neighbor Kotar endangered me. They have followed me in 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 Sweden again, where they have abducted me. Oh, what a garbage. That I have again compared them, my father with Fritzl in Austria, my mother with Parasite, that the time will come, basically the same stuff like on the first page, when they will have to be exterminated, killed. Again, the issue that I have slept during the day, and that I have slept during the night, and again that I have conversed with like-minded people throughout Germany and elsewhere. What can I say? I mean, what can I say? It more than anything that I can say is not only how sick this communist pro-Yugoslav Serbian filth scum is here in so-called Slovenia, but I can see clearly that these really are people who are suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. You see, because these are the people that see things in individual that do not exist. So how can I explain otherwise people as per being mentally sick, in addition to being so criminal, that are actually seeing in people things that do not exist other than what I have stated? Yeah, it's kind of funny. Really is. And again, they go to the same thing, to their birthday. And they claim that I have actually humiliated them, and I have actually used profanities on them. Well, I don't believe that on the video that you can see online, that I have posted online, that you will detect any profanities that I have used. I don't believe so. There was no profanities, there was no bad language, but I did ask them, I'm not going to say politely, but I would say officially, I would say straight, to please leave. If that is what profanities are, if that is what they are trying to depict here as, they say here that I was trying to chase them away with inappropriate expressions, with bad language. Wow. No such thing. No such thing. The only one that has the proof of what have taken place was myself, because I have recorded. And from what I have recorded the whole thing, I don't think that anybody can say that I have used any bad words. But if they say so, you know what I mean? If they claim that those are the bad words, we're going to find out who said, what said, and I'm telling you, scum, you're going to need those proofs to prove all this stuff that you're claiming. On your way to hell is where you are going at, with your lies, with your scam. And the same thing that I have eaten what are cans that I didn't want to eat from my mom, whatever she cooked. That I have only eaten chocolates, fish, chips, which the two of my parents have saved for, from their pension, and that I have again accented the worthiness of some kind of a race. Idiots, I'm gonna help you out. It's not some kind of race, it's Aryan race is what it is. It's not some kind of race. But the problem is, however, that I have never discussed Aryan race with my parents. You got to understand that my father is a hardcore communist, that my father was a hardcore communist, and I would never ever discuss such issues with hardcore communists, whether that would be a foreigner, whoever that would be, my father or whoever that would be. I never ever would have any discussions, I would say political discussions at all with my parents. I didn't have any discussions with my parents at all. I hope that you will be able to prove all that stuff, because, and trust me, you will need those proofs. I'm just going to give a quick input here. Fact is that my father and my mother were extremely, extremely abusive. Fact is that they were instructed by the communists here in Novo Mesto to slam their doors during my rest, during my sleep. When I went to sleep at night, it was actually at daytime, they would crash, slam their doors back and forth through the room. They would, in addition to what you were able to see, that government here have organized heavy construction all around the residence, all around the house that was going on. These people were doing anything and everything possible to agitate me. They were using extremely bad language toward me. They were insulting me. I was not worth anything. I was not human. I was not anything at all. In 2006, upon my return to Slovenia, just as I have written on my blogs, my own mother have addressed me with American spy and have demanded from me American passport. This is the type of people we are talking about. Not only about the neighbors from whom they have taken instructions, and as I have explained on my videos, blogs, but own parents. It is the sad truth. Now, do I hate my parents? No, I don't hate them, despite everything they have done, and they have done a lot to me. Even in the present situation, these people are, my parents are collaborating with communist scum in Slovenia against me. They plot, they continue to plot, they plot lies. Regardless of all this, regardless of what they have done to me, and of course that includes my sister, you have to understand that these are the only parents that I have, and the parents are like children. You don't get to choose. They are your parents and your children regardless. So can you really hate your parents, your children? I don't really think so. I don't really think so. But yeah, anyhow, and they repeat again here, if you go back to letter, that this more worthy race is threatening that which I'm connected, that they will exterminate everybody else, and that I have continuously reminded them on Anders Breivik. Wow. I mean, please excuse me, I did not use even mention word Anders Breivik at all to my parents. So like I said, if you have the proofs, which you will desperately need, now at this point you will need them. You will need them badly. Anyhow, if I go back to letter, according to investigation, there is a serious doubt that due to my mental state, health, I would not be even able to listen to this now. Even that I would not even be able to be present on a trial itself, on a procedure, on a criminal procedure against me, which eventually, due to this, I will have to be, well, I mean, I can't help, look people, I can't help this anymore. This is so crazy, this is so insane that I just I can't go on with it. I have to read this. That I have stated them that in the United States I was treated with electroshocks and that my school was open. That I was already pronounced as clinically dead, and that they were giving me shocks in order to revive me. That woman by the name Helga is following me, stalking me from Sweden. Wow. I have never heard for such a name, Helga. I did heard for such a name, but have I ever mentioned the name Helga in my blogs? No. Unfortunately for these criminals, no, I have not. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I have never stated that somebody have opened my skull. I have never stated that. Yes, I have stated that they were using electroshocks on me. They did. I have ECT, electroconvulsive shocks, and electroshocks during abduction in so-called Slovenia during 1998, which they did, but that is all explained on my videos. Just because these criminals are stating this stuff and mixing it with the lies, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna quit from pursuing the truth. The world have the right to know the truth. Look, we go to the page number 3. We go to the page number 3, and I guess this is pretty much the end of it. I'm sorry, it's page number 4 with B. On this page number 4, basically they are citing some kind of acts, criminal law, to which they qualify me, comparing me with what I have explained to you, that I should be persecuted based on what I have done. They're talking about what I have done, not that there was a suspicion that I have done. But the main thing about this letter that just surfaced recently, the main thing about this is the idea to convince September the 19th, 2013, is to convince, I don't know, me and other people, and I don't know whom, that during the time of hospitalization, or I should say hearing in mental hospital, I was completely insane, is basically what they are trying to say. And in other words, that I was not even capable to stand the trial, and because of that trial, they have postponed the trial to what is today. Of course, as explained in my blog, this kind of thing does not exist. There was hearing. On this hearing, what they would do is they would totally misinterpret every word I would say. If I would say word white, they would later on state that I have stated the word black. Pretty much explained on my blog what they have done, for one thing. And secondary, this doesn't have anything to do with any trial. First is the trial, then is the punishment, or hospitalization, or whatever you want to call that, but not with this Eastern European communist scumnut. With them, the first thing is punishment, incarceration, hospitalization, call whatever you want to call that, fabrication of lies, because you have actually attempted to talk to them, because they come with such stuff that doesn't make absolutely any sense at all, and you're pretty sure that you are there, that actually that not only that you are not there with any reason at all, but the whole thing is like huge mistake, whatever. But this is not the case. The case is that whatever you say when you're hospitalized, will be misinterpreted. And I'm very, very certain also that even if I would not cooperate with them, even if I wouldn't say anything, they would come up with their story anyhow, regardlessly. So it really would not make any sense at all. As you see, they even dare to state that I was not mentally self-aware, that I was not mentally conscious during what was hearing in hospital. So that means that they could say that I didn't even say anything, or that I should say whatever I say. You know what I mean? It's not about what I say, it's about whatever they write that I say. So I think that Joseph Stalin was not anywhere near as criminal as these gangsters, thugs in so-called Slovenia are. I don't think that Joseph Stalin could be compared to these people. And he killed 50 million people. He starved them to either starve them to death or have them thrown in Siberia and so on. These people are really Mac Daddy of the crime. It doesn't get any worse than that. And yeah, and now seems like what they have referred to as in other words, engaging in violence against me, torture, brutality against me, like I was tortured, stuff they have done to me when I was hospitalized in hospital in Ljubljana, is what this thugs, this Eastern European communist scum, refers to as treatment, as a help. Yes, yes, to torture individual, to puncture you with needles, injections, to fill you up with the medicines that you really are completely screwed. And even so, it was the biggest humiliation of them all. I have passed those psychological evaluations with outstanding results. I have proven them to be, I would say, extra intelligent, and that was after 9 months when I was heavily on drugs, did not read a single book, newspaper, or have conversed with anyone at all. And these criminals actually now dare to come up with idea to further even suggest that this trial is now necessary because I was not mentally absent during hospitalization. I think that they just can't be more criminal than what they are. In continuation, I will also explain that this local gangster, communist thug by the name Prokshel, psychiatrist, have further even suggested me, it's all recorded, have even further suggested me that psychological evaluations and tests will not show the disease itself. And I have done numerous people. I'm not talking about 10, 20, 30. I'm talking about probably 50 psychological tests, evaluations that were done on me. Do you understand that? And each and every one of those was done outstandingly. So I don't really know how these criminals are going to prove their point, or are trying to prove their points, when their whole case is bad joke. They will need those proofs, because like I said, by the end of this week I'm going to push forward criminal charges against the local police in Novo Mesto, criminal charges against Psychiatric Hospital in Ljubljana, criminal charges against all other people that I have mentioned.